Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Dollar Car Rental Studios, it's the Ramsey Show, where debt is dumb, cash is king, and the paid-off home mortgage has taken the place of the BMW as the status symbol of choice. I'm Dave Ramsey, your host. Dr. John Deloney, best-selling author and host of the Dr. John Deloney ever-popular podcast and YouTube show, is my co-host today. So we'll talk about your mental health, your friends or your relatives' mental health.
Or your coworkers.
Which is much more fun. What? Already he starts with this. All right. So it's the problem with having a guy with 2 PhDs on. He's just intimidating. What can I say? Open phones at 888-825-5225. You jump in. We'll talk about your life and your money. 888-825-5225. We're going to continue our discussion of the largest legal fraud in America today in our third hour. It's called timeshares. They put people in a room and won't let them out for 8 hours until they buy. And then they screw you. And they screw you, and they screw you. And they've made billionaires out of the men that started these things. And it's a crazy, crazy mixed up world, and we're going to continue to expose the timeshare companies. If you have been messed over by a timeshare company, which means you're either have bought one or you haven't, you can call and talk to Kelly. We want to get you on in the third hour, or you can email me at daveonair@ramseysolutions.com. daveonair@ramseysolutions.com. Put timeshare scams in the lineup. Maybe you used to work for one of them, and you want to tell the truth about what goes on in the inside. We've had a bunch of those over the years. We'll continue to get more of those. I'm gathering stories from consumers and people who have been screwed over by this crazy, out-of-control, multi-billion-dollar business that quietly continues to defraud people, and among them, the elderly. And it's just they're preying on people, and it's got to stop. So we're just pounding them. So third hour, that's what we're doing. If you want to talk about it, we'd love to have you. DaveOnAir@RamseySolutions.com. Email us and let us know. We'll work you in. Kevin is in Dallas. Hey, Kevin, welcome to the Ramsey Show. What's up?
Hi, Dave. Thanks for taking my call.
Sure.
So I'm currently disabled, and I was applying for term life insurance prior to me going on full or long-term disability. And I was denied my application, so I went with a universal life insurance policy, and I'm not really sure what to do about whether I can find something cheaper that would be term rather than sticking with the universal life.
What is the nature of your disability?
It's called hereditary spastic paraplegia. It's basically it makes it really, really hard for me to walk.
Okay. Life insurance is going to be difficult of any kind. And universal is no harder to get than term, or no easier to get than term. So if you've already got a universal policy, for goodness sakes, don't let that go unless you found something cheaper and got it in place in your hand before you released it. But you can go to Xander at XanderInsurance.com, get on the phone with them, tell them what you're facing, and they will see if they can find a company that will write you. In the insurance world, they call that making a market. See if they can make a market for you, meaning find someone that will carry the policy in your situation. Permanent long-term disability is a statistical problem for the life insurance statistics, and they generally they give you a real hard time with it. They just give you, depending on what it is, but most of it is very hard to get. So Xander has got a way of doing it like nobody I've ever met. They do a great job of really trying to serve you, make sure your specific thing. So go to XanderInsurance.com.
So if you find yourself in that situation and you're unable to get life insurance, at some point you're going to have to really reverse engineer out your life and start saying, I may have to save more aggressively than somebody else, or I may have to choose to not spend. I mean, you're going to have to go with a plan B, right?
And there are some policies. You can get small policies. They're super expensive. They're guaranteed issue. They issue them to anybody.
No matter what.
You just have to say, I'm alive.
Okay.
And they'll issue them.
But that's probably outrageous, huh?
They're like 20 times more expensive.
Right.
And, you know, it's usually a $10,000 or $20,000 policy, too.
Okay.
It's not you can't get a $500,000 guaranteed issue, usually. So, again, it depends on the nature of what's going on, and the insurance world has changed a lot, the life insurance world, because they're doing a much better job of not throwing the baby out with the bathwater on every category.
Right.
They'll drill down into the situation and say, okay, in this situation, I think we can get this written. You know, for instance, if you just had the word cancer anywhere around your name, you were screwed. You couldn't get life insurance, period.
Yeah.
I mean, it didn't matter, 10 years, 20 years, you know, you're cancer.
Or heart.
Or heart
issue, you're out.
Yeah, you're done. And nowadays, you know, it really does depend on the type of cancer. It depends on what the treatment was. It depends on what stage it was. It depends on how long it's been since that you've been cancer-free before you try to get written. And you can get, you know, as a cancer survivor, you can get life insurance now, depending on, you know, the frequency,
what it was,
and
and
the proximity and all that kind of stuff. Christina is in Kansas City. Hi, Christina. How are you?
Hi, Dave. Thanks for taking my call.
Sure.
I have a question about back ties. My husband and I have been married for almost 10 years, and for the first time, we are searching for a new church family. And for the last 6 months, we have been setting aside our tithe in a fund, but we're not sure what to do with the money. We're wondering if we should just write a big check when we find a new church that we want to join.
That'll be fine. There's nothing wrong with that. You can find some local churches in your area to spread it among now if you want. Here's the thing. What we want to do is we want to be obedient to the scriptures, those of us that are people of faith, with our generosity. The tithe is the baseline for our generosity. But you can never stray away from why. Why does God want us to be generous? It's good for you, because he wants to make you into a generous person. And generous people are just more fun. They're happier. They're not depressed very often.
They don't live in their own heads.
Yeah,
right?
It's not all about you.
They live with eyes open
the
for their
purpose is not every jot and tittle, meaning every little freaking finite detail about the nuances of which scripture or whatever, and God is not going to bless that because you gave it to a Baptist instead of a Church of Christ or whatever. It's none of that. Don't get caught up in that. So the point is, you have set this aside. You are going to be generous. You're going to give it to someone. God's smiling. He's not wringing his hands about where it lands.
Awesome.
Because it's for you. Does that make sense?
Yes, that's great.
Yeah, you're awesome. I appreciate
What a special heart, man.
Your character and your desire to be true to your faith. And man, that's just very cool.
That's a person who's tethered into their virtue above and beyond experience, right?
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to be this kind of person, whether I've got a category to send this to right away. This is who I am. This is who we are.
And changing churches, man, it's like
changing
for some of
families.
us, it's like going through a divorce. I mean, it's just because your social's tied in there, everything. Oh my gosh, it's hard.
That's tough.
You're going through a hard thing right there, kiddo.
Good for you. That's inspiring, man.
That's very neat. Very neat. It's for you.
Giving, yeah.
It's for you. You give for you. This is The Ramsey Show. Stop paying your overpriced wireless provider and switch to Pure Talk. They use the same network as the larger providers for much less. For just $30 a month, get unlimited talk, text, and 6 gigs of data with no contract. The average family saves over $70 a month by switching to Pure Talk. Just go to puretalk.com and enter the promo code Ramsey to save 50% off your first month. Pure Talk, simply smarter wireless. Dr. John Deloney, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Open phones at 888-825-5225. If you're tired of feeling stuck with your money like you'll never get out of debt or save enough for the future, it does not have to be that way. You can make progress with your money faster and faster and faster with Financial Peace University. Every dollar, it's all part of a Ramsey Plus membership. When you budget, when you get intentional with your money, and you start learning the baby steps in detail with a group of people with Ramsey Plus, it changes everything. You will make progress, and you'll make it fast, and you can start all this, including your new budget on every dollar, for free starting today with a free trial of Ramsey Plus. Text TRIAL to 33789. That's TRIAL to 33789. Our question of the day comes from Blinds.com. They have a 100% satisfaction guarantee. Means even if you mismeasure, you pick the wrong color, they'll remake your window blinds free. Free samples, free shipping, and with the new promos they run every month, you'll save even more. Use the promo code Ramsey.
All right, today's question comes from James in Texas. James writes, my wife and I pay our bills based on our income. Good, James. I earn more, so we split the rent 70-30, go 50-50 on the electric bill, and I pay for cable, water, and internet. When we moved into a new rental, she asked if she could hold off paying... God, I'm just going to finish this question. She asked if she could hold off paying rent the first 2 months, and I agreed. What a saint. The third month, she was late with her contribution, and now she's going to be late again this month. I asked her to manage her paycheck and other debts so that she uses the second check of the month to save for rent and electricity to avoid being late, and she got mad. Was I... Dave,
she's a little late to the mad party. I'm already there.
Was I wrong anywhere? Yeah, everywhere, James.
Yeah, you were just wrong before the whole thing started.
100%, James. Every step of the way.
We both are going to smack you around. Are you ready?
I was helping her manage her pay. What a saint. More responsibly, because paying things late is a bad habit to break. You know what else is a bad habit? Being an idiot. James, what are you doing? It's like he's living with a coworker, right? Like they're co-running a business. I don't know, man.
Listen, dude, this is your wife. You remember the part richer for poorer, in sickness and in health? So when you're laying in the bed with the flu, I hope she doesn't give you as much crap about making you some chicken soup because you're sick as you are about making her be a grown-up and manage her money by herself. Oh, my God, dude. Really?
Come on, man.
So, here's the thing, son. You guys need to put your money together. Together you work on it. Together you make decisions. And together we manage our money for the good of our family. This is not your roommate. The old marriage vows say, unto thee all my worldly goods I pledge. If you wanted a roommate, you shouldn't have gotten married.
And if you want to divide up your life into mine and yours, and you owe me this and that, and I'll let you borrow this from it, man, just listen to that language. That's not a marriage. It's not a marriage. That's a business arrangement.
It's not even a good friendship.
No, it's not even buddies. You know what? We all had this friend in college that was like, hey, bro, remember Wendy's? You owe me $4.28 from like 3 months ago.
Yeah. The mustard that you used in the refrigerator door, that was like mine.
So you got to pay for...
It's like $4 a squirt.
Dude, I can't... Everyone had that friend. You know what I learned about friendship in college? I got around some guys. You know what the fights were about? Who was covering the check? Like, this is ours, right? That's just knucklehead college buddies. This isn't a husband and a wife. So, James, y'all have a pronoun issue, and that is y'all got to sit in a room and say, what is yours and mine is ours. That's it, right? What yours and mine is ours, and we got to do this thing from the floor.
And you're not sanctioning irresponsibility, and she's not going to sanction you being a control freak, out-of-control, arrogant jerk.
Yes. Nobody wants.
I had enough adjectives in that.
And I kind of want to hug you, man, because you know what? I read this and
after you called him an idiot.
I know. Hey, that's a term of endearment for me.
I know.
I want to hug him because I think he's actually trying to help, and he's asking, "Did I screw this up?"
Yeah.
Yes, you did. You did. But that question.
Well, it's just it is astounding that he could be that clueless, though. Really.
I know,
but I wonder if
endearing.
that's even a real question.
It's endearing.
It's endearing that he's that dumb.
Yeah, when he's like, "Hey, did I mess this up?" And everyone's like, "Yes, of course."
Relationally, you get a sub-0 score here.
No, I'm going to give him a 1 because he looked in the mirror and said, maybe it's me.
Well, now she's pissed. Why did this woman wait this long to get pissed? I got to tell you, before the first sentence was over, the hillbilly woman at the Ramsey house would have been over it. I'm just saying.
I know, but she's getting a free ride here with this guy this Romeo who's paying for the internet. Man, she won the lottery with this one.
I'm going to give you a little time off on that rent there just because I really like you.
Listen, lady, I'll get the internet and the cable because that's what men in Texas do. Come on, James.
Oklahoma City, Chelsea, get us out of this. What's up?
Okay, I'm a little nervous, so you're going to have to bear with me. Murder mystery parties. I'm a stay-at-home mom, and I'm trying to start a side hustle planning murder mystery parties.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm, like, almost totally blind. And I'm not sure how upfront I should be with my clients about that because I don't want to be disingenuous with them since it is a visual medium involved. But at the same time, it's like it's my medical records. Is that really their business? I'm not sure what to do because I don't want to mislead people.
Flip shoes. You were going to a murder mystery place. Would you care if the lady that put it on was blind?
Not really.
Unless
they couldn't do the job.
Oh!
Ta-da!
Ding, 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 ding. You win the award.
Can you plan awesome parties?
Yes.
And to the extent that your site limitation would cause a mistake, you can go ahead and disclaim that on the front end, and people will give you a lot of grace.
Okay, that's a good idea. I didn't think of that.
But you go, look, but it's not a thing. I got this.
Yeah.
And if I don't got it, you can call me out on it, and we'll work it out together. But I got it. I've done 26 of these or whatever you've done, and there's no problems and so on. But
Chelsea, you throw that head back and go.
Yeah, have at it, but just treat other people like you'd want to be treated. It solves almost all your business ethics questions.
Okay.
And
and by the way, if I were your customer, that's exactly what I would want. I don't care if I'm coming in there to have a party and have fun, if the person conducting it is whatever, fill in the blank.
I want an awesome party.
I don't care until their whatever affects my party, right? But if it affects my party, and I need to have a little bit of compassion with that person, or a little bit, I'd like to have had a heads up about that.
Let's have a conversation about it.
Yeah,
Right.
but so I don't get surprised because I really, like I'll tell you, I'll give you an example. Okay, I went to check into a hotel a while back, and we use only debit cards, and the stupid debit card had gotten an algorithm hit for ID, right, for ID theft, and then the people come back from the desk and they go, well, you're over your limit. Well, honey, my debit card don't have a limit, okay? This is freaking me. I can buy a car on my debit card if I want to, right? So, but it's late at night. I'm tired. I'm exhausted, and I can't get in a stupid hotel, and I'm pissed at my bank. I dial up my personal banker, and I was unhappy with her. Can you imagine me doing that?
Yeah.
To which she says, hey, I'll get this fixed in the morning. I'm at the visitation for my dad's funeral. Can I work on it in the morning?
Wah, wah.
To which Dave goes, oh, you're a butt to Dave. He says to himself, Dave the butt. So in other words, if I had had that piece of information, I might have been a little nicer to her, right? You follow me?
Yeah.
So just give me enough information so that I can be kind if I'm the customer, if there's a mistake that might be related to the information.
And Chelsea, I think what's going to cause you the most grief is if you walk into business deals self-conscious of something. If you think you're bringing an impairment to something, then you're going to not sell yourself as strongly. Go in with your head held high. You're going to do a great job. Bring a community with you who's going to help you fill in your gaps. Man, you're going to go get it.
The reason we know you're going to be good is you bothered to ask the question.
That's awesome.
You weren't like arrogant and throwing around entitlement stuff or something.
Love it.
You just said, hey, how should you do this? By the way, folks, if you're wondering how to act in business, always ask the question, how would I want to be treated if the roles were reversed? Do unto others as they would do unto you. It solves almost all your business ethics questions.
We were drawn to Christian Healthcare Ministries because we both had young families and we wanted to have more children. And we had also just started a real estate company and needed to find healthcare coverage that would meet our needs. We were attracted to CHM because of its low monthly costs and the ability to negotiate medical costs down.
Established in 1981 and accredited by the Better Business Bureau, CHM is here to meet the needs of your growing family or small business. Check us out at chministries.org/budget.
We absolutely believe in it.
Dr. John Deloney, Ramsey personality, host of the Dr. John Deloney Show. You can hear it on YouTube, Instagram. You can follow him anywhere great podcasts are carried, and it's very popular and growing very rapidly. If you'd like to ask him a question about anxiety, about relationships, about anything, you can call today at 888-825-5225. You can email him at askjohn@ramseysolutions.com, or you can leave a voicemail and the team will get you on the show. 844-693-3291. Also, if you are a victim of a timeshare, if you bought a timeshare, got ripped off, you want to tell the timeshare sales story, the scam story on a timeshare, we're going to be doing that in the third hour. I need to hear from you. Email right now so Kelly can get you scheduled for that show. Dave on air at RamseySolutions.com. By the way, whenever you hear this, if you want to share your timeshare story, we're going to be doing several of these over the next several months. It's like my new hobby.
I was going to say, I haven't seen you this joyful, Dave.
Oh, this is such good radio. It's also such the right thing to do because it's the largest legal fraud in America. And when you get to looking at the people behind the scenes on this and how scummy they are, it is bizarre. You've never seen that thing. I hadn't seen it until this week. Have you guys seen the old documentary, The Queen of Versailles? Did you see that? Yeah, that's a timeshare king. Yeah, building a 90,000 square foot house with his wife who's 30 years his junior.
Wow.
And all that implies.
90,000, huh?
90,000 square foot house. The largest house in America. Yeah, so we're going to talk about that kind of stuff. It's fun. But that documentary was just a train wreck of people. It's such sad just because it's just like, God, who lives like this? Well, they do. Yeah, and that's who's selling you this stuff. So anyway, email us at DaveOnAir at RamseySolutions.com. And in the lobby of Ramsey Solutions on the debt-free stage, Jimmy and Stacy are with us. Hey, guys, how are you?
We're doing great. How are you?
Better than I deserve. Where do you guys live?
We're from north suburbs of Chicago.
Okay, very cool. Good to have you guys. And you're here to do a debt-free scream. How much did you pay off?
So, as a married couple, we did $153,114.
Great. How long did that take?
18 months, 5 days.
All right. And your range of income during that year and a half?
So that was $215 to about $250.
Wow. What do you guys do for a living?
I'm a pharmacist.
And I'm in the IT.
Very good. Good for you guys. What kind of debt was the $153,000?
It was part of my student loan debt that's been following me around before marriage. So
you said as a married couple at the front of this.
So
you're telling me that before you were married, there's other stuff happened?
It's the student loan debt. It's been haunting me for a long time.
But had you reduced it substantially prior to marriage?
$96,547.
That's pretty substantial.
Yeah, it took me quite a while to even get that as a single parent. But when we got married, it was just
boom, just go through it hot and fast.
Yeah.
Good. Good for you. Well done. So how long have you guys been married? 18 months?
No. So, well,
a little closer to 2 years now.
Okay. All right. So, but the last year and a half or so, all through COVID, boom, boom.
He was hospitalized. He had a surgery at the end of the year. I had a surgery on my foot.
Wow.
So we had a lot of really weird things that sort of sidetracked us. We were expecting to be done a little bit earlier, but
18 months is still pretty impressive.
Yeah, I was glad we were still able to get through. I was sad going into 2021 with the debt, but it's still February, the end of February.
And you still did it in the pandemic year.
Yes. Yeah. We kept no interest on student loans.
Yeah.
Oh, I was so excited about that.
Because you can make so much faster progress. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, when it's all said and done, I paid $85,039.94 in interest.
Wow. From the beginning.
Yeah.
So what sparked this thing?
So I heard about Dave a few years ago, and I kind of did Dave-ish, where it's like, yeah, I want to do this, but then it was really hard. My income wasn't there. I was supposed to be guaranteed full-time hours. I wasn't getting it. I was applying for jobs, not really getting a whole lot. So I was kind of driving all over the state of Florida to be able to make ends meet and pay my little student loan that I was getting, which was mostly going to interest. I was doing income-based repayment, which
you don't get anywhere.
Pretty much actually lower end.
You're going backwards, yeah.
So when I moved to Illinois, I decided I was going to do like the full baby steps. Now I hadn't done Financial Peace University. In fact, he actually ended up doing it before me. He hadn't even heard of you. So I introduced him to you, and he is the spender, the flashy guy. I wasn't sure that our relationship was going to go very far when I first started dating him because we were on different pages. And I will honestly say, I did not tell him he had to listen to you. That was the Lord there. And he came to me one day after he started Financial Peace University and brought me his cut-up credit cards. And I was like, thank you, Lord.
This is the one.
I think this might work.
One.
Yeah, this is it. That was not me badgering him or anything. So
smooth romantic move, my
Woo.
brother.
That was very romantic, Jimmy.
Well
I'm just
played.
saying, buddy.
I did it.
So yeah.
That's very cool. So,
Yeah.
Jimmy, when you were hospitalized, was it COVID or something else?
That is correct. It's
Oh,
COVID.
really? With COVID?
Yep.
Man.
Yikes.
And you're a young guy.
Not quite. I'm 40 years old.
Yeah. Well, I'm 60. That's not old. So
All right.
you're a young guy. Say, I'm a young guy.
I'm a young
Okay. All right. Very cool. Good for you. And so you got out of it okay, though?
Yeah, it was a pretty rough ride. I almost died.
Oh, my
all night.
gosh.
Yep.
Yikes.
He ended up being out of work. I was able to take off work to stay home and help him. I mean, he literally had to learn how to walk and have strength to walk and even hold a spoon. So,
My goodness.
yeah, I'm
You got
thankful.
a really nasty case then.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, I'm so glad you're here and everything's good.
Yes.
So all of this, and you still paid off $153,000
In
Yes.
18 months.
Yes.
Wow.
In the first 2 years of marriage. You guys are impressive. And he cut up his credit cards. Yeah.
That's how he got me.
That's it. That's it. Wow. Way to go, guys.
Yeah.
Very, very cool.
And my daughter Isabella just graduated high school on, was that Friday?
Okay.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Very cool. Congrats, Isabella. Very neat. What a great year then. Things are going well. How's it feel to be free?
I can't even, it's just amazing. And I'm just looking forward to the future.
What do you tell people the key to getting out of debt is?
Just, you got to be focused and look at the end. What do you want at the end, that point? What are you getting to?
What was your big why? What was your big push?
So I really didn't want my daughter ever be in debt. And she was with me when I was a new Christian. I started learning about Christian principles, and one of those being the borrower servant to the lender. And I look back and I said, if I could do it all over again, I would have did it a lot differently. But when we didn't really have the income, there was a time I thought we might actually be homeless. I know it sounds nuts, being a pharmacist and not being able to get a job. And
I believe it.
I mean, I literally was picking up shifts, driving all over the state of Florida. And, I remember having conversations with her, and one of her prayers, she made a scroll. She was in a Sunday school class. She made a little scroll, and the kids wrote a prayer that they had. Well, her prayer was for me to get out of debt. And I carried that around in my pocket up until I got out of debt. In my jacket, my white coat. I carried it around, and when I would go to pull a pen out or something, I would fill it, and I know that, I'm in this. I may not be enjoying every day, and I may be stressed out some days, but I don't want that for her. And she's so debt averse, and so yeah, she has her first semester already paid for.
Love it. All right, well, Isabel, get up in the shot when they do their debt-free scream here. You're part of this story. Very cool. Well, way to go, Jimmy and Stacy. We got a copy of The Legacy Journey for you. That's the next chapter in your story, leaving a legacy, changed your legacy, now become very wealthy and outrageously generous in the process, and you've changed your family tree. We're so proud of you. Also got a copy of the Total Money Makeover for you to give away, pay it forward, get somebody else moving, and show them how to do it. That's great stuff. Jimmy, Stacy, and Isabella from Chicago, $153,000 paid off in 18 months, making $215 to $250. Count it down. Let's hear a debt-free scream.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
We are debt-free! Yeah! That is how it's done. Wow, what a story. This is The Ramsey Show. Ramsey personality is my co-host today. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Tyler's with us in Fort Worth, Texas. Hey, Tyler, how are you?
Hey, Dave and Dr. John, how are y'all?
Better than we deserve, sir. How can we help?
Dave, it's such an honor to get to speak with you. My girlfriend and I, we attended your Reset Live event in Oklahoma back in January, and we really enjoyed it. So it was my first time seeing you, and it was great to see the team too. So
thank you. That was a good night.
Dr. John, you're a great addition too. I'm really enjoying your show.
Thanks, man.
Okay, so here's my numbers. I'm 22 years old. Very recently graduated with a construction science degree, basically construction management. In 2 weeks, I start my new job at a company that I previously interned with. I'll be making roughly $60,000 gross, and I will be living at home with my parents. I've been listening to your show almost every day for about a year and a half now. I'm on baby step 2, and here are some other quick numbers. I have $66,200 in student loan debt. No other debt, no credit card, no car loan. But there's some good news. I cash flowed my senior year of college, and I have an additional $25,800 ready to be utilized for debt at this moment. Okay. So I also have an E-Trade account with 2 single stocks in it that I was given during my sophomore year of college. This was, unbeknownst to me, came out of nowhere. That value today is right around $13,000. So I basically have 2 scenarios. I'm going to put that $25,800 towards the debt, which will bring me down to $40,000. And then I have 2 options. I can use that $13,000 and be out of debt, ran the numbers in 12 months, or not use that $13,000 and be out of debt in 18 months. Now, the difference of 6 months, but my thought was I could, instead of investing those $13,000 into single stocks, I can put that into mutual funds and let that start growing now. So what do you think, Dave?
Well, we teach folks to clean out any assets that they have that are not in a retirement plan and use them to clear their debts as fast as they can, because the shortest distance between where you are in wealth is not an E-Trade account. The shortest distance between where you are in wealth is to be debt-free and get control of your largest wealth-building tool, which is your income. So we're going to clean out everything down to $1,000.
Okay.
And we're going to throw it all at this debt, and then we're going beans and rice and beans, no goofing off, no spending money, and clean the rest of this up really, really, really fast.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I've been going back and forth with this for about a year now. Since I called the show maybe a year ago, I didn't know what to do with it then.
Did I tell you what to do with it
directly. Then? No, I didn't. No, you didn't then.
Okay.
I talked to John and Anthony, but
okay. So are you going to do it?
Myself, so
yeah,
yes, sir, I'm going to sell. Yeah, I'm going to sell it.
Okay, good.
Yeah, do it right now.
Yeah, today. Curtis is with us in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Hi, Curtis. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hi, Dave. Thank you for taking my call.
Sure. How can we help?
Little backstory. In 2019, my folks started going through a divorce, and they own a construction company, and they volunteered to make me a 10% owner before the divorce was filed. It's been a 2-year battle since then. We've turned the company around a lot, and we did a mediation yesterday. And I'm kind of torn on how to do some of the financing of the buyout.
You're buying them out?
My dad is buying my mom out, and I'm just kind of helping him along the way.
Okay, you're helping him by advising him.
Correct, yes.
You're not co-signing for him?
No, I can't, no.
Okay.
Okay, and so what is
so I don't know.
Has the amount been determined?
Yes.
How much?
$400,000.
You guys have done well since 2019.
We've done very well. In fact,
how much cash is in the business?
As of right now, because we were going into mediation, I kept the cash very low, and we updated a lot of machines. So we walked into mediation with under $10,000 in cash.
Well, that worked real good for the mediation, but it doesn't work real good for the buyout.
No. But I'm exactly where I was 2 years ago financially.
Okay, so what kind of profit will this place generate in the next 12 months?
I'm contracted for roughly $800,000.
Profit.
In that range.
Profit. We'll pay her off in 12 months.
Right. I've also got other outstanding debts from machine purchases in the last.
Are they short-term debts?
5-year.
Well, pay her off in the next 12 months.
Okay.
You have $800,000. You need $400,000.
Right. So
what am I missing?
Yeah, what are we missing, man?
It seems fairly obvious.
Right. I've got a lot of numbers in my head the last couple of days.
Let me tell you what's really in your head.
What?
All of you are pissed off at her and don't want to give her the money.
Oh, I have no problem giving her the money.
Your dad does.
I know what. Well, yeah, probably.
Okay. And this is affecting your judgment. Because for me, it's a very simple $800,000 over the next 12 months. I think you two guys can figure out a way to get you a bologna sandwich out of that and pay this woman off and get her out, make her the ex-wife.
Okay.
Give her her money now. And then you go deal with your machinery and get your other debts cleaned up as soon as you can. This is a priority for a lot of reasons. It's going to set you guys emotionally, relationally free to go do business again, because having a bulldozer payment is way different than having an ex-wife payment.
Exactly.
They're kind of similar,
but they're
very
similar. But
it's
going to let you say it first. But
backhoe, but there's a crane. I don't know.
But there's something about that is as simple as math gets.
Yeah, there's an emotional blocker is what it is.
Big time.
Yeah. So you make it a priority like you wanted to do it.
Yeah. And if you walk in and show up any banker on earth, hey, I've got $800,000 of contracts here. I need to make
well, you can just pay her out of cash flow. She can't do anything in the next 6 months anyway. So just pay her out of cash flow. Just pay her. I mean, if she gets her money inside 12 months, that's going to work in the mediation, believe me. For wrapping up a divorce that's already 18 months in.
Yeah, that tells me that's contentious and dramatic.
Yeah, and a lot of moving parts.
So walk me through, Dave, real quick. What would not go into cash at a mediation? Is that like some kind of move? I don't get the chess move.
Well, he's trying to prove he was broke in order to make the business worth less, so that she only got a valuation of $800,000.
Pay your mom and move on, dude.
It's
congratulations now,
being
right?
cash poor does not also mean equal broke. They look at net worth. They look at cash flow. You don't value a business based on the number of dozers and lack of cash. You value a business based on its income that it creates, and that's what the valuation comes from. And it sounds like this was dramatically undervalued.
So I would have, I would have rather flipped that over and been able to walk out yesterday like this.
Yeah, had $500,000 in the account and paid her $500,000 instead of $400,000 and lost a little bit of the mediation. But there's a lot going on in this story that you and I are not hearing.
That's true.
I can promise you, there's a lot of stuff here.
It's amazing how our judgment gets clouded.
Full-on reality show for the last 24 months.
Yeah.
Yeah, get her paid off fast as you can, man. That's the bottom line of the thing. That's the trick. As fast as you want to do, as fast as you can possibly do that. And for future reference, be careful when you implement a short-term strategy that has negative long-term effects but feels good in the moment, where you tried to make the company worth less because you bled it out of cash and bought all this equipment. Now you put the company deeply in debt. So in the short term, you fix the problem with your mom's mediation and your dad's mediation, but on the long term, you put your company deeply in debt, and you cause long-term problems for a short-term issue. And so that you have to be careful in business or in your personal life. It's like someone goes, transmission's out again. I'm buying a brand new $86,000 car. And so you fix a temporary problem with a
5-year
permanent
drama.
Problem. Yeah. And a long-term problem. And that's what everybody tends to do, but that's emotion-driven more often than it is.
Breaks my heart for that family.
Side. Yeah, what a mess. Dr. John Deloney, good show, good hour on the show today. James Childs, our producer, Kelly Daniel, our associate producer. I'm Dave Ramsey. We'll be back. Have a friend or family member that needs a daily dose of Ramsey advice in their life? Let them know about the Ramsey Call of the Day podcast. It's a quick hit of advice about life and money in under 10 minutes. Check out the Ramsey Call of the Day podcast wherever you listen to podcasts. This is The Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Dollar Car Rental Studios, it's The Ramsey Show, where debt is dumb, cash is king, and the paid-off home mortgage has taken the place of the BMW as the status symbol of choice. Dr. John Deloney, Ramsey personality, best-selling author, and host of the Dr. John Deloney Show, a very famous podcast and YouTube show where you can join him there all the time and answer questions about mental health, relationships, anxiety, all kinds of fun things. And the show is, it's moving and it's inspiring and it's entertaining. So be sure and check out the Dr. John Deloney Show. Next hour, I will be continue talking about America's greatest legal fraud, timeshares. If you have a timeshare or you have been ripped off by a timeshare company or you want to talk about the scummy sales process that the timeshare companies use, call in. Talk to Kelly or email us at daveonair@ramseysolutions.com and you can be part of the show next hour. We want real people with real timeshare stories. I've certainly got my opinions and they're right, but we would love to hear from you.
If you want to know what it's like to work for Dave Ramsey, that was it.
That was it right there. That solved it right there. So, folks, if you're an employer, listen up. One of the things we've discovered here years ago, and we were one of the first to discover this, is the way that productivity with employees is affected by their personal life, and that includes their money. If your team member is struggling with money and they're getting calls from Discover Card and MasterCard, they are not thinking about work at work. In a manufacturing setting, that can even be dangerous. In the military, it can be dangerous because you need your eye on the your eye on the ball there.
Or if they're working for you and they are applying to every other job under the sun,
trying to get a raise
in the mornings, at night, trying to
money stress is everywhere. So I think we invented the phrase, we actually own it anyway, financial wellness, because there are all these wellness movements in corporate America, and so we put financial wellness in there. We own financialwellness.com. Money stress is everywhere. And if you want proof, we did a recent study with our research team that found half of all employers say financial stress has a significant impact on their employees, but only 30% of companies have a financial wellness program. Well, that seems counterproductive.
Yeah.
So if your employee stress is hurting your company because it's hurting their lives, you could help them and help your company. And that would be like something that would be smart to do. You get a return on investment there. Don't ignore the problem. This research paper is pretty incredible that we did on the details of this. And I know running a business has been tough, and I know the last year you're thinking about a lot of stuff. Financial wellness may not have been on the list of things you were trying to make payroll Friday, that kind of stuff, right? But you got a shot to help your team here.
And I think the shot, Dave, is we hear this all the time. It's bigger than teaching them money principles. It teaches them intentionality principles. It teaches them, hey, here's how to get your life in order. And man, if you can get your employees to start thinking bigger about what they're doing and why they're doing it and how they're doing it, and you start mapping out your day and your week and your month, you're going to see a more engaged employee, a more intentional human being coming to work every day.
Yeah.
Right?
And we teach this stuff. And we want to make sure our team was not Ramsey-ish.
Yeah.
So we actually initiated, some of our leadership team got really fired up about it this year and initiated a whole program internally here called Walk the Talk. If you're going to say this is what we do, maybe you ought to be doing it. Hello.
That's exactly right.
Don't be a hypocrite.
Yep.
And so we got T-shirts and banners and everything all over the building. Walk the talk, walk the talk. We had Financial Peace University down here in our main lobby in the evenings, and 500, 600 people went through it. Of the 1,000, that most of them had already been through it before, but they're going through it again. And the amount of debt our team has paid off since the first of the year is pretty amazing. It's inspiring. Yeah. So if you're in HR, you're a decision maker at your company, you want to hear about this stuff, about financial wellness, and you want to see what this study says, this free report, our 2021 Smart Dollar Financial Wellness Benefits Study. It's real easy to do. There's a ton of information here. Text wellness to 33789, and you can get this free report. It is in-depth. Our 2021 research paper, Smart Dollar Financial Wellness Benefits Study. Ton of great information. Text wellness to 33789. John is in Los Angeles. Hey, John, welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Thanks for taking my call.
Sure, man. What's up?
So I have an anxiety question. I'm happy that Dr. John's on the line as well. So I'm 28 years old. My wife and I are on baby steps 4, 5, and 6. And I grew up in a paycheck-to-paycheck household. And now I'm about 2 years out of law school. My wife and I paid off all my law school loans together in about 13 months.
Way to go, man.
And so we're debt-free now, but now I have trouble spending money on anything. And it's not like I'm scared of the future. I trust that God will provide. And I also,
Are you on a speakerphone? John.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, it's a little better. Yeah. Go ahead.
Apologies about that.
That's okay.
You can.
Go ahead. So I was saying I'm okay with saving a bit, and I'm not afraid of the future or anything like that, but I just feel real guilty spending money on anything. There's a lot of, impoverishment and homelessness in Los Angeles where I live, and so I feel a lot of anxiety and guilt about spending any money.
What do you do with the money that you don't spend?
Save it. We give a lot, and that's it, really. I like spending money on my wife. I like buying her things, but she keeps trying to get me to buy something from me, and I can't seem to do it.
Who told you weren't worth taking care of?
No one, I don't think, but...
Yeah, somebody did. Somebody told you that you come last, your oxygen mask goes on last, that it's all right to take care of everybody else, but the moment you start experiencing joy, you get you've done something wrong. You've stepped over into dangerous territory. Who told you that?
Probably someone at church.
Okay. Yeah, they can be expert. What do you say, Dave, about guilt trips?
Yeah, expert travel agent for guilt trips.
Yeah, they can be travel agents for guilt trips there. That's right.
Mm.
Hey, listen, somebody lied to you, brother. I'm sorry.
So here's the thing. It shows a big heart of compassion that you notice the homeless around you. You also are able to do first grade math, and you know that you're not the Messiah and you can't take care of them all.
Right.
You can help with the homeless issue by making some donations to the local mission or do other people that are doing good homeless programs. But even that is not going to fix the homeless problem because you didn't ever buy you a shirt. Does that make sense?
Right. Right. Yeah.
And when I start doing stuff like this, my wife goes, "Hey, you ain't the Messiah." That's his job. The job's taken. And it's good to have a big heart and be compassionate, but when it overwhelms you to the point that you are unable to do the normal rhythms of life because you see need out there, that's a Messiah complex. You're starting to think you're Jesus. That's not your job. That's his job. The job's taken. And you're not big enough to do it. I'm not big enough to do it. None of us are big enough to fix that single-handedly with our own personal checkbook. I mean, even Bill Gates couldn't do that, right?
Hey folks, I got a great option to help you pay for your education. The Army National Guard. The Army National Guard believes you are the next greatest generation because you have proven that even in adversity, that you have what it takes to succeed. That's why they offer benefits like tuition assistance, career training, and a paycheck to help you avoid debt. No matter what your goals are, the Army National Guard can help you get there. Visit NationalGuard.com to find out more.
Dr. John Deloney, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Open phones at 888-825-5225. John is in Los Angeles. We ran him up into the commercial and crashed him. And he was talking about how to learn to enjoy money without feeling guilty now that he got out of debt. Deloney, more comments on that?
Yeah, here's what I want you to do, man. I want you to begin to consider yourself worthy of taking care of, too. And
right. Okay.
Most of us have to, and it's going to sound counterintuitive because we think we just are born into the world knowing how to do this, and we don't. But I want you to begin to practice. If you've got the money, you've paid it off, everything, you're in baby steps 4, 5, and 6, you're a lawyer, you're doing okay, I want you to practice spending money on yourself.
What's an example of something you would buy that you would feel guilty about?
Pretty much anything.
Well, give me an example.
Like going out to nice dinner or something?
Okay. All right. So I think for a little while to learn to develop the muscle, John's suggesting you learn to develop this muscle. Put it as a line item in your budget. Mm-hmm. John. That's the line item. And that money cannot be spent on anything that's in that line item. You can do an envelope. Put the cash in an envelope. Write John on it. It cannot be spent on anything except John. I had to do this, John, because my wife was doing the same thing. She's a classic Southern belle. And, well, we'll say we'll have plenty of money for the children's clothes, and I'll just wear the drapes. Like she's Scarlett O'Hara, right? Martyrdom,
yep.
Right? Martyrdom. And so I finally had to set it aside, a separate clothing aisle, Sharon's clothing, kids' clothing. Mm. You cannot spend Sharon's clothing money on anything except Sharon's clothing.
Right.
Then that takes all the guilt out of it.
And so after years of practice?
It's budgeted. Years of practice.
Has she come around?
She has no trouble now. She has no trouble whatsoever now. She's completely healed.
She is healed.
She's healed. It's a miracle.
She's a professional.
Miracle. All right. Allison is in Phoenix, Arizona. Hey, Allison, what's up?
Well, I am debt-free.
Love it. How much have you paid off?
$120,000
Love
in
it.
46 months.
46 months. Making what kind of money range during that time?
So I started my base salary with my full-time position, started with $57,000, and I am ending at $80,000. But with my side hustles that I did multiples of, my 1 year was $106,000.
Way to go. What kind of debt was the 120?
So the vast majority was my student loan for my doctorate degree, which allowed me to then have a side hustle. That was a pretty significant add.
What is your doctorate in?
It's in education.
Very good. Very good. So
And,
what started the journey to get out of debt 46 months ago?
Well, it was looking at myself that I should have, had I stayed in another position, I could have been retired by now. And I had a lot of challenges. I went for 4 years where I was unemployed and underemployed. And I went 2 full years unemployed and then 2 more years making $20,000 a year trying to make things work. And then lots of life in between. And I came back, found my passionate job here in Arizona, and realized I could be retiring in 10 or 12 years, and I don't have any money to do that. And I said, I need to retire with dignity because I'm not going to put my children through taking care of me as I took care of my parents.
Hey, Allison, it's easy to focus on the money part, but I want to spend 2 seconds on being out of work for 4 years, making $20,000. That is a psychological beating. That's a spiritual beating. What brought you back to your feet and said, you know what, I'm gonna take this one little step and another step and another step, and you took off?
To side note, I asked for
and taking ownership of your future. What motivated you to do that?
To side note, I asked for a call when you would be on, Dr. Delaney, because I love you. I've been a single parent for nearly the entirety of my children's lives, and my parents were gambling addicts. And I grew up in a household, I know this is like a long way to your answer, but I grew up in a household that didn't take care of money. And so I learned how to really be good at being in debt. And in 2006, I discovered a different person who said, debt-proof your life. Don't debt-free, but debt-proof your life. And so I tried that. And that introduced me to Dave Ramsey, but I didn't believe in Dave Ramsey until I lost my job and my house and my ability to take care of my family. And then my mother passed away and my father moved in with me, and also I took care of him. And so it was hard. It was my...
You found yourself out of options, huh?
I didn't know what to do. I thought I've gotten debt proofed before. I can do it again. So the first 2 years I was kind of okay. And I was like, I've done this before. I can do it again. And the debt just kept growing and growing and growing because I didn't follow the baby step plan, right? I didn't have the rest of the plan. I got out of debt, but I didn't follow the whole plan. And then after 2 years, then depression set in.
There you go.
And I didn't believe in myself. Yeah. And then I gave up. I was like, well, heck, who cares? I can't take it with me. My parents didn't take it with them. I can't take it with me. And so what does it matter anymore if I'm in debt? And then I came back to Arizona. I had moved away and came back and found my passion job. I love what I do and I love where I work. And I finally started healing my sense of self and my sense of self-worth. And that's when I was able to then turn around and say,
yeah, that's foundational.
Wait,
it's foundational to be able to get you here.
Yeah. Yeah,
so proud
and
of you, Allison.
You're
way to go, Allison.
It's
proud
awesome.
of you. Very, very well done.
Thank you.
We've got a copy of the Legacy Journey for you. That's the next chapter in your story for sure. You have changed your life, but now you're going to change your legacy. So continue with this. We're very, very proud of you. You have really, you're a superhero. You persevered without a doubt.
It's awesome.
Absolutely amazing. Very well done. Also, a copy of the Total Money Makeover for you to give away and get somebody on their journey and teach them the baby steps that it took you a while to learn there. So proud of you, kiddo. Very well done. All right, it's Allison in Phoenix, Arizona. $120,000 paid off in 46 months, making 57 to 80 to 106. She's hustling and grinding. Count it down. Let's hear a debt-free scream.
3, 2, 1. I'm debt-free!
Yeah! That's how it's done. You know, it is foundational to be able to do the baby steps to get to ground zero.
Yeah.
And when you're struggling through so many holes, you're down in a hole.
Yeah.
You got to get up to ground level to start.
And it feels like a war to get to zero.
To get up to ground level.
Yeah.
To get past the addictive behavior in their home of origin. To get past the
I'm not worth anything. Yeah.
The hopelessness, the worthlessness. To get up to there, and then all of a sudden, when you're standing on that base ground, even at zero, and you can see your way up, the light comes on. It's like hope.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man, that's powerful.
What a stud.
Well done, kiddo. Well done. This is The Ramsey Show. Dr. John Deloney, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today in the lobby of Ramsey Solutions on the debt-free stage. Alan and Ashley are with us. Hey, guys, how are you?
Good. How are you, Dave?
Welcome. It's a pleasure to have you. Where do you guys live?
Charlotte, North Carolina.
Very good. And you're here to do a debt-free scream. How much did you pay off?
Oh, you're looking at weird people, Dave.
You paid off your house?
I paid off our house.
Woo! Yeah!
$393,000 total.
All right.
Wow.
And how long did this take you?
Close to 5 years, 4 to 5 years.
Good for you. And your range of income through that 5 years?
It's like 90 to 260.
Wow. What do you guys do for a living?
We work in transportation. I'm a freight broker.
I'm a dispatcher.
Okay, cool. Is this how y'all met?
No. Believe it or not, I was a salesman in New York. We're from New York, Connecticut area. And she was one of my customers, and I kept hitting on her, and she wasn't interested. And then I moved down to Charlotte, and eventually I reeled her in, you know?
Ah, that's a good salesman.
Yeah.
Well played.
Charlotte was a good move.
Yes.
Good for you. So what inspired you 5 years ago to get house and everything paid off?
Well, we just didn't want to be a part of the rat race anymore. For me, I would always complain to my friends and coworkers about I hated working like a day job and doing the 9 to 5 and just had to find a way to get out. So we decided to just do nothing but work for 4 or 5 years, doing side hustles, full-time jobs, managing around the kids' schedule.
Yeah, I'd work a full-time job Monday through Friday, and then once my son went to bed, I'd go out and I'd DoorDash or Grubhub or whatever side hustle I had to do.
Wow.
And then on the weekends, I'd go during his nap time and bedtime and just whenever we could to make the extra money. I mean, there's no fun right now, but we'll be there.
Yeah, you can have any kind of fun you want now, making a couple of hundred and no payments, no house payment or anything. How's it feel to be completely free?
Great.
Great. It feels like a huge relief.
Was it worth all the sacrifice?
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. We don't even know how to get out of it. We talk about that. Like, we don't need to work all the time, but we're still working 7 days a week around our kids' schedule. And it's like, how do you break that trend after doing it for so long? You feel unproductive when you're not working. So it's like, if I'm on the couch for like an hour watching TV, I feel like I should be out working. She's the same way, so.
Interesting. Cool. Well, you need a hobby.
Yeah, we do.
There's these 2 magic words I want to teach you. You ready? I quit. You can use them on the way home to whoever they apply to. Congratulations.
Thank you very much, John.
Very, very strong. Way to go, guys. So what do you tell people the key to getting out of debt is? You paid off $393,000, house and everything.
What do you say?
Dedication, just stick with it, keep going, and then at the end it will be nice not to have to worry about, when the utility bill comes in, am I going to pay it this week or am I going to wait till the next paycheck? Now it just comes in and you can just pay it right off.
And for me, it's just I want to make sure that the rest of my life, my son doesn't have to grow up the way that I grew up. And for me, I grew up poor in a very wealthy neighborhood in Connecticut, and everyone around me was rich, and I was far from that. So I just tell people to stick with it, and the grass is always greener on the other side. So,
how old are your kids, man?
I got a 3-year-old.
A 3-year-old?
Yeah, a 3-year-old and a 15-year-old.
Wow, that's perfect. What's this house worth?
Probably around, with this crazy white market we're in now, our realtor's telling us about $450.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
Way to go.
Thank you.
Yeah. So you got to feel completely different.
It does. It's just nice. Like, I always tell my boss all the time, like, this is the last day job I'm ever going to have. I like working here, so I choose to work here. But, like, I don't feel like I need to work 40, 50 hours a week anymore.
Changes
She feels the same way. Yeah. So.
Wow.
So what actions are you going to take when you get home to plug into this 3-year-old instead of more DoorDash?
Well, we try to do family time on the weekends. She's always home to put him to bed and read him a bedtime story. And but yeah, for the most part, we got to spend more time together with him, which seems to be the problem. It's like one of us is always working all the time, so our schedule's kind of built around him. But you're right, we do need to figure that out more.
That's exciting.
Cool.
Yeah, we both work from home, so that's a plus side.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So, I mean, he gets to stay home with us at all times, and he's never seen a daycare in his life.
Yeah, that's wonderful. And you got all these goals set.
Yeah.
That's very powerful. Good. All right, well, let's get him in the shot. What is his name and age again?
Austin, and he's 3.
Austin, 3-year-old Austin, Alan and Ashley from Charlotte, North Carolina. They're weird people. They paid off their house and everything in 5 years, $393,000 paid off. And, of course, we've got a copy of the Legacy Journey for you. You have changed your legacy. You've changed your family tree. I'm so proud of y'all.
Thank you, Dave. Appreciate it.
Very well done. Excellent, excellent work. Good job. And a copy of the Total Money Makeover for you to give away to someone as they head off in the right direction as well. So good stuff. All right, Alan, Ashley, and Austin, let's hear a debt-free scream.
3, 2, 1. We're debt-free!
Yeah!
Look at the smile on his face.
He loves the applause.
Yes, he does.
Well, that's what happens when your mom and dad are studs. That's amazing.
Wow.
Very powerful stuff. See, if you make, let's just say they quit a whole bunch of their jobs and they only make $150.
Yes.
And you don't have a house payment. You become very wealthy.
Real fast.
If you just invest the house payment.
Right.
If that's all you do, take your house payment, round it up, have it automatically drafted out of your checking account. That account alone will become $1 million so fast.
It'll take care of you.
It will blow your mind how quickly this thing turns in the other direction, and the momentum that you've pushed for so long to try to get that rock up the hill, finally it goes over the top and it's rolling down the other side.
Yeah, and then you get to find a new, you spent 4 years cranking on that why, and now you get to sit down and do what I think's a lot of fun is dream and create a new one.
Yeah.
What's next, right? It's that little 3-year-old right there, right? That
Exactly.
15-year-old at home, that's awesome.
What's the next big push? That's the thing. Very, very cool stuff. Well, one of the things that happens when you get all of your debts paid off and you don't have any debt of any kind on your FICO, on your credit report at all, your FICO score becomes 0.
Dave, doesn't that mean you're dead?
No, it means you have a lot of money. I can buy anything I want to buy, and I don't have a FICO score because I have money. And I have money because I don't have a FICO score. Because the only way you get a FICO score is go in debt, stay in debt, and pay it all the time. And the same's true when you teach your kids. So they teach that 3-year-old. It's teach your kids to be countercultural in a culture that worships at the altar of the great FICO. Oh, great, FICO, you are our provider.
Oh, FICO.
Good old FICO. So we just dropped prices up to 80% on our best-selling kids products so you can have fun and education this summer for the kiddos. The Adventure Pack is a family favorite that includes the new Storytime Collection, Financial Peace Junior, the Smart Saver Bank, and more to make learning about money actually fun. And the best part is you can add an extra kit for each sibling. Or if you've got a teen that's wanting to earn some extra cash, the Teen Entrepreneur Toolbox is the perfect, safe, and flexible way for them to create their own summer jobs. They'll turn hobbies into real businesses, and they'll learn hard work, leadership, and responsibility. Teach them the right way to handle money while they're young. Save up to 80% off by shopping the Kids and Teens sale at the online store at RamseySolutions.com/store. RamseySolutions.com/store. So, you're teaching the kiddos in the Deloney household?
Yeah, in fact, I was just thinking last night, actually, I thought, man, I can't get away from Dave. I was laying down, reading my daughter a story to go to sleep, and I looked over and saw her Ramsey, it's like a piggy bank, but it's divided up into those 3 sections, so she gets a representation of pictures. Man, her and Hank are working hard this summer, and Hank's starting Hank's handyman service, taking care of some of our aging neighbors, their farms and places, and man, watching them put it in the save and in the spin, watching him work hard and then buy a Lego set he wants, it's just so great.
That's powerful.
Yeah, it's cool, man.
Good stuff. It's how you change the family tree.
Yeah.
This is The Ramsey Show. Dr. John Deloney, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Coming up at the top of the hour, we're going to do another hour on the timeshare industry, America's largest legal fraud. If you want to comment on that, you want to be part of that hour, you can call in. The phone number is 888-825-5225, or you can email, and Kelly will get you set up at daveonair@ramseysolutions.com. We have room for you to tell your timeshare horror story, or if you know someone that has one, get on the phone with them and tell them to get in touch with us right now, and they can be part of this. So in the lobby of Ramsey Solutions on the debt-free stage is Danielle from Colorado Springs with a question. Hi, Danielle. How are you?
Hi. I'm actually from Austin, Colorado, but I'm doing great, and thank you for letting me ask my question today.
Sure. What's up?
Well, my husband and I recently reached baby step 7, and we're both teachers, and we're...
Way to go.
Yeah. Wow. We're struggling with our will because while we completed the journey very successfully, our children, we did not change the family tree. And so we're struggling with knowing how to put this all in our will while including what we've started as our legacy and how to talk to them about it without alienating them or without trying to change who they are.
So what does that mean? Who they are?
They didn't. We live the baby steps out loud. It's in my classroom. It's in the community. I'm a Financial Peace University coordinator, so it's no secret. We even threw a party for my husband's truck when it turned 30. So it's no secret that we are living the steps out loud. And they didn't choose to follow us because they were older when we got married. And so we're doing all sorts of crazy things that we're really excited about. We want to include it in our will, But we don't know what it looks like for people that don't understand where we're coming from. We don't want to feel like we're judging them because it's their life, they're adults. But we wish that we had changed the family tree of our 4 children. One of them is doing well, one of them is doing ish, and the other 2 is like, who's Dave Ramsey? That kind of thing. And we don't want to alienate them, and we don't want to judge them out loud. We wish that they would take the journey, but we're really passionate about, we have a memorial scholarship in my brother's name. It's really taken off. It's really doing great. We're going to put that, that's going to be in our will, but we disagree on what to say, when to say it, and what we should do.
So I'm going to let Dave talk through the will. I wanted to let you know that judging a family tree while you're still here is often too soon.
Yeah, true.
And so right when you said that, I just wrote a note and I wrote yet, right? And what I'll tell you is kids often, especially when they get to see an example, not just hear words, they get to see it, they often loop back around, right? And there will come a moment when they go, oh, I don't have anything. That's why mom and dad, and then they come crawling back and say, tell me about this Dave guy, right? So don't wear that baggage yet. Okay. Dave, what do you think about this will situation?
So here's the thing. Let's say that someone was working here on our team, and I'm giving them my money to do work, and they're not doing a good job. Not talking to them about that and calling that not being judgmental is inaccurate. It's also unkind, because I owe them the feedback to be able to change their lives to become a good team member, to become productive as a team member. That way they get to keep their job. Otherwise, I just walk in and they randomly get fired and they don't know what happened because I refuse to judge them. Because all along, I was judging them. You're supposed to judge people, by the way. You're supposed to judge them. This idea that, oh, you can't judge people. Yeah, you're supposed to, and you need to. You don't have to be a jerk about it. You don't have to be judgmental. But it is unkind to share with those that you love the most a better way of life. It's unkind.
To not share it with them.
Yeah, to not share it with them. Yeah, I mean, to hold back and go, well, that's just the way they're made. No, they're not made that way. I mean, you know, it's not, not saving money is not a character trait. It's a decision.
Well, that's what makes it hard is because they don't understand or support the decisions that we've made, which is fine.
Yeah, they don't have to do that, but they do have to start behaving in such a way that they're going to receive my money, or they don't receive it.
Okay.
And it's unkind for you to have, because here's the thing, if they're misbehaving and you give them money, you are now funding the misbehavior. That's the ultimate in enabling.
Right.
And so an extreme example of that is they're doing heroin. But they hit the DNA lottery, so there happened to be my kid that's a heroin addict, but I can't judge them. Oh, yes, I can. You're a heroin addict. I just judged you. And I'm not giving you money upon my death to further damage your life with your misbehavior. You'll die of an overdose. That's an extreme example, but this is a minor example where a series of choices going unaddressed by them or you, funded with a big pile of money, is going to magnify the negative.
That's what I was worried about.
Because what money does is it doesn't heal things. It magnifies the good things and the bad things. And we've all got some of both, by the way. So,
and you are spending a lot of energy judging you and your husband.
What do you mean?
You have these values.
And it's almost like you're ashamed of them.
Yeah.
No, I'm not. I'm sad that they didn't. When you ask people what the hardest part of the journey is, I would clearly say that it's that they didn't join us.
Yeah.
So
Yet.
Yeah.
And so
well, I think I would just sit down and say, listen, you're adults. I am not in a position to tell you what you have to do to live or how to live, and I am not going to do that. But it would be unclear of me and unkind to me for you to not understand that as long as you're not handling money in a way that I view reasonable, I can't leave you money. So you won't be in the will.
Right. And I don't want to get off the stage without saying that we love all of our kids equally.
I didn't.
Right. I know you didn't say that. I just don't want them to hear this and think, wow.
Yeah.
No.
We just wish better for them.
Yeah. I mean,
think of it this way. If a truck was coming and they're in the middle of the road,
dancing.
You would shove them out of the way, right?
We would.
And it would be unkind to say, well, I don't want to
judge your behavior.
I don't want. Yeah, they're dancing. I don't want to get in the middle of that.
Yeah, they're dancing
hit
and
by a car,
doing tequila
right?
shots and dancing in the middle of the road. Yeah,
Right.
I mean, it's a problem. It's a problem.
Yeah.
So, but you know, I can't make you do anything, but I can not give you money for the tequila. I mean, I cannot fund the misbehavior, and it's just a loving thing. And you want to be very brief and very kind and very gentle, very low, and don't get into a bunch of your disappointment.
I won't.
It's just, I need to give you the information that we're not going to be sharing wealth with people who
don't share our value,
who don't share our value and can't handle it, because I'm afraid it's going to bring you harm instead of a blessing. And I love you too much to give you anything except a blessing. And so you have my spiritual blessing. You'll always have my love, but you won't have my money. It'll be left to something else, unless you guys want to learn how to do this stuff. And anytime you do, we're here to help, but we're not going to interfere in your lives. You're adults.
Right.
Does that sound balanced?
It does.
You've reached a point where you have to pick your heart.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to live in distress of you're going to violate your own values by giving money to people that you don't think is going to be a good steward of it? Or are you going to live in distress? Are you going to have a hard season of here's our boundaries and we're going to hold firm to them?
Yeah,
you got to pick your heart, right?
Yeah, and it's not an emergency or anything, but our will is very detailed on this stuff, and even further controlling than what we're discussing right now. And so, because we're Christians and we believe that it's not really our money, we're managing it, and I can't leave God's money to an unrighteous or an incompetent manager. And so if you're going to be doing a bunch of crazy stuff,
normal stuff,
doing cocaine on the back of a yacht and thinking you're shooting a reality show because you're a trust fund baby, you're confused if you're a Ramsey, because you're going to get zip. I'm not funding that because of your lifestyle decisions and because I love you too much to fund your cocaine habit.
And the important thing is that you told them that up front.
Oh, yeah.
They know.
Yeah.
There's all
Absolutely.
clear in the Ramsey house.
It's a responsibility of management that you're losing, not hitting the lottery. There you go. That's a difference. It's a different viewpoint on it. Thank you so much.
For sharing that.
Very nice. John Goodhour.
Thank you.
Well done. James Childs, Kelly Daniels. Up next, Timeshare Hour. Yeah, call in, people.
Hey, it's Kelly, associate producer and phone screener for The Ramsey Show. If you would like to do your debt-free screen live on the show, make sure you visit theramseyshow.com and register. We would love for you to come to Nashville and tell Dave your story.
This is The Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Dollar Car Rental Studios, it's The Ramsey Show, where debt is dumb, cash is king, and the paid-off home mortgage has taken the place of the BMW as the status symbol of choice. A couple of weeks ago, I stepped onto the air and started talking to you guys about the timeshare industry. Now, I pick on rent-to-own guys, payday lenders, credit card companies, car leases, whole life companies, all for one reason and one reason only, because they screw you, the consumer. They're rip-offs. They're not good for you. They don't cause you to win. I have not advocated for legislation to ban them, because I would rather you guys just put them out of business by stopping your use of payday lenders. If I could educate enough people how bad payday lenders are, they would quit going to them, and then they would dry up and they would go away. If I could tell enough people to buy term insurance instead of whole life insurance, I would, and then there would be, I don't need legislation to put whole life insurance out of business. Instead, education and inspiration will do that. I've been doing this for 30 years. And all during the time I've been on the air and the time I've been doing financial coaching, I am meeting people who have been screwed by the timeshare industry. They go in on a vacation and they're told if they come to a short sales presentation, which will end up being from 5 to 8 hours long, that they get a free hotel room. Well, that's not free. And then they buy something from $8,000 to $108,000 where they have the rights to use a hotel room, a condominium, for 1 week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks or 4 weeks a year. They have absolutely no title to the real estate. They bought air. And they know they bought air when they try to sell it or get rid of it because you can't sell it. It's not an asset. They're all over eBay for $1 and no one will buy them for $1 because then you've signed up for the ridiculous ever-increasing maintenance fees where they gig you and 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 gig you over and over and over again. This is a $10 billion industry. They take a simple condominium project that they would have made a few $1 million on, and they make hundreds of millions of dollars by selling it by the hour and by the week to people who then own nothing, and they're in debt many times for $15,000 or $20,000 or $30,000 for this useless week, and they have problem after problem after problem after problem. If you have been screwed by the timeshare industry, you have a story to tell about getting locked in one of those rooms and not being able to get out until you bought. Call right now. The phone number is 888-825-5225. That's 888-825-5225. If you have never fallen prey to this, and I have not, but most people that I know have, here's their proposal. We have not fed the tiger here at the zoo for several days. To say that he's greedy for a meal would be an understatement. However, if you will go into the tiger cage and sit with the tiger for 3 hours and pet the tiger who's greedy for food and has not eaten in 3 days, we will give you a 1-year pass to the zoo for free. And you folks sign up to pet the tiger in the tiger cage. And you think that this greedy tiger is not going to eat you. And you sit there, and you sit there, and you sit there, and you sit there, and you're pressured, and you're twisted, and you get hungry, and your blood sugar gets low. Many elderly people complained that they could not get access to their medicine, and the only way they could get to take their medication was to sign up to get out of the room. This is unbelievable, unconscionable, over-the-top pressure from these companies to buy this completely useless product that does nothing but make the people selling it rich. If you sell timeshares, you are by definition scum. Stop it. Go get a good job. It's awful. You should not do that to people. You should have a conscience. You should look at what you're doing and think about what the people are going to end up with 5, 10 years later after you sell them that. Well, Dave Ramsey, you sell people stuff. Yes, I do, and they are better for it 10 years later, not worse. There is value in that. And I have no hesitation to do that whatsoever. Westgate, David Siegel, is now 86-year-old billionaire, 86. His wife is 30 years his junior and was the subject of the famous documentary back around 2012 called The Queen of Versailles, where they began building a 90,000 square foot house. Were unable to finish it because Westgate almost went broke. This one is one of their timeshare testimonies online. Westgate, we were scammed into buying this timeshare only to be told the most important information, which was in a black binder given to us, was that we had 10 days to cancel. We are out of the 10-day period. We cannot use the timeshare for 1 year. Every piece of information given to us was a lie. This is about Westgate. Marriott. Owning this timeshare has been such a headache overall, but this COVID situation has really given them an excuse to further abuse people. I pay my $1,500 maintenance on time. By the way, can you rent a hotel room for $1,500? This is after you paid $14,000 or $28,000 to own the dad blame thing. Pet the tiger, baby. Pet the tiger. Nothing is ever available to trade. Weeks are lost, and now they have to be put into interval because Marriott won't extend the usage even though everything was closed due to COVID. On top of that, they never even put the points into interval. Says it will now take 12 weeks to press a button, which means I will lose 3 months of usage before it expires. Endless hours on the phone and chat only to hear the same thing over and over again. You have to wait. Sorry. Thank you, Marriott. You screwed me. And they refuse to allow me to speak to a supervisor or a manager. The worst of the worst is Diamond. In 2019, we were visiting a Diamond Resorts location and were offered a discount 4-day trip to Palm Springs if we attended a timeshare presentation while there. Go in the cage, pet the tiger. The staff pressured us relentlessly into making a purchase. While at the presentation, we were told that these resorts were for the exclusive use of members, that this was a real estate investment, that not traveling more with our family made us bad parents. Finally, we felt that we needed to make the purchase, not only to leave, but so that our children could experience the lifestyle that this representative was promising. After that day, we continued to get hounded with calls from Diamond employees asking us when we'd be attending the welcome presentation. Every time we tried to book it, nothing was available. Not only can we not book rooms, they ripped us off. What are we paying for? Diamond, thank you.
What makes our show unique is that we genuinely care about our listeners. We're intentional about choosing the best advertisers to recommend. Blinds.com is no exception. They offer high-quality window treatments at unbelievable prices, and they make it simple to shop blinds, shades, and interior shutters with easy online ordering, free shipping, and a guaranteed perfect fit. Go to Blinds.com and take advantage of this week's special savings.
Talking about the largest legal fraud in America today. It is legal, but it is an absolute ripoff. It's called a timeshare. If you've been ripped off by the purchase of a timeshare and you want to tell your story, you can call in right now at 888-825-5225. If you used to work for one of these companies and you want to tell the truth about what goes on behind the scenes, you can call us at 888-825-5225. 225. Marty is in Phoenix, Arizona. Marty, what happened to you?
Hey, Dave. Hey, just a quick story. When I was 22 years old, my wife and I were freshly married, and she heard about this timeshare thing that you'd go there and they'd give you away a free barbecue grill or whatever to listen to their presentation. So she talked me into going to it, and it was the longest 4 or 5 hours of my life sitting there listening to this pitch that made no sense at all. To spend like, I don't know, it was like $15,000 to $20,000 for this timeshare thing that you could use. And then they brought out the big hitter guy that tried to, really sell you on it. And even at that young age, I told the guy, I said, it's just absolutely ridiculous. I can stay in a really nice motel for a lot less money than that. Well, you've got the option. You can trade, go someplace else and such and et cetera. And I said, well, if I want to do that, I'll just go to that place. It's just give me my stupid barbecue grill so we can go home. And so I told my wife, we're never going to sit through an experience like that again. That was, 30? I'm 58 now. So how many years ago was that?
Wow.
36 years ago. Yeah.
So that experience stuck with you. Did you actually get the barbecue grill?
Yes, we did. And it was one of those cheap little hibachi little things,
Oh, so even that was a ripoff.
It was a ripoff. Yes, it was.
They stole your 5 hours. So you got paid $1 an hour. You got a $5 barbecue grill.
That's for sure. And I told my wife, I said, nothing is free in this world. We had to spend 5 hours of our time for this cheap little barbecue grill. I said, it's just, to me, it just made no sense. I've always lived by your principles even before I heard about you, to keep it simple, have no debt. We paid off our house in our 40s. We're your everyday next door millionaire. I just would advise people not to buy into nonsense like that. If you want to take a vacation, book a nice vacation someplace where you want to go and pay for it. But the timeshare thing is a total ripoff.
Yeah. Yeah, I always think I'm kind of like you. That how many nights in a hotel room can you buy for $15,000?
Exactly.
A lot.
Yeah, you can get a really nice motel for that for, I don't know, a month or so, or a couple of months.
Plus $1,500 or $3,000 or $4,000 a year maintenance fees on top of that, and the special assessments. Don't forget those. Marty, thanks for calling in. Yeah, again, guys, going to the timeshare presentation is like going into the tiger cage. The tiger is not eaten for 3 days, and you pet the tiger for 3 hours and try to not get eaten so that you get a 1-year pass to the zoo. Don't pet the tiger. Just don't do it. Well, and the hilarious thing is you think you're going to be the exception, and so you go down there and you lock yourself in a room with the tiger, who is There's nothing greedier than a timeshare salesman, except his boss, and his boss's boss. People like Mike Flasky, the CEO that runs Diamond. Whoo, you talk about a character. See, they just sold that to Hilton. And Hilton has just damaged their wonderful national brand now because they took on the largest, most grotesque and complained about timeshare company in the world called Diamond International. And I don't know how much money Mikey got. If you're the CEO, I wonder how much stock in Diamond he owned. So how wealthy he became with that transfer to Hilton. I wonder if that's public record. James, we ought to look that up. That's probably in the SEC filings. Since we're going to go ahead and continue to do these exposés on the interior workings of the timeshare industry. So how many of you out there think about this, saw that thing, The Queen of Versailles? The award-winning 2012 American documentary by filmmaker Lauren Greenfield with Sundance. So I watched it, and I got to tell you, I watched it because I'm pissed off the timeshare people. They've been jacking around, and I'm finally just doing something about it. I'm body blowing them right now. And so I watched this, and I just felt sorry for these people. They were just pitiful people. It was hard to be mad at them because they were just pitiful. Just pitiful. Now, David Siegel is the owner of Westgate. It's now, he's now a billionaire again, but he almost lost everything during that 2008 downturn, and they were filming this documentary that came out in 2012. And get this. Now, Siegel and his wife bring them into the house, and they follow them around with their dogs pooping in the floor. They've got a whole bunch of kids. The house is an absolute wreck. It's disorganized. Their spending habits are like they're in Congress. They're self-absorbed. It's a really sad, kind of like watching those reality shows where the people on there aren't even real. They're like cartoons. And you just feel sorry for them. Like, if that was your daughter, oh my gosh, how would you feel? If that was your sister, how embarrassed would you be? That's kind of how I felt for him. I felt bad for him, except that I sat there and watched this guy, and the first thing he did was not stop construction on his 90,000 square foot house. When his company got in trouble, he laid off 7,000 employees. But he didn't give up the 90,000 square foot house. That's just principally wrong, I think. But what do I know? I'm old-fashioned. In 2010, this article says, in January 10th of 2012, the same year, Siegel and Westgate Resorts filed a lawsuit in Florida against Sundance and the filmmakers of The Queen of Versailles, claiming that Sundance's published film description was defamatory. Now, I will say this. It did not leave old David and his wife looking in a good light. It was not like this was like a promotional piece for them, which is what I think they thought it was going to be because of their egos. And so, but you let these people in your house and followed them around and had no guidelines on you overseeing the editing of this. And they found that your dog's crapping in the floor, your kid's stepping in the dog crap, and they put that on there, and you don't think that, and you think that's defamatory. Honey, it's not defamatory, it's what happened, and you allowed them in your house to film it. So the judge threw that out. The arbitrator also wrote that Westgate had failed to show it was damaged from the documentary. Finally, the arbitrator wrote that Westgate did not remotely establish the type of malice required for a defamation claim on behalf of a public figure. But let me tell you what a $10 billion industry does. When in doubt, they try to sue their enemies into submission, whether they're right or not. We had an attorney on here last week when we were talking about this that said that he represents 15 different attorneys that they have run them out of their law practice. These attorneys would go after the timeshare business to cause their customer to be released from the timeshare. The timeshare company turned around and sued the attorney. And this guy has 15 of these attorneys that he's representing as an attorney against the timeshare business because all they did was try to run them out of business. So that's what they do. And the problem is I'm neck deep in cash. I don't have any debt. So, guys, I'm not going to be that easy. I'm not a little one-man show law firm. I'm not going to be that easy, Mikey. You got a problem. It's me. And you've pissed me off by ripping people off so long and then coming after me. And that was a mistake, Mikey. That was a mistake. It's going to cost you guys. This is just the beginning of how bad it's going to hurt. People, do not go to a timeshare presentation, especially if it's Westgate, Diamond, especially if it's Marriott. Do not go into the tiger cage and pet the tiger. Don't do it. You're going to get bitten. Now, if you have had a timeshare experience and you want to share it, this is your time. We're going to do that in the next segment. The phone number is 888-825-5225. Hilton Grand Vacations has entered into a definitive agreement to acquire Diamond Resorts International, the largest independent timeshare operator, in a stock-based transaction value $1.4 billion. All on the back of people that went into the tiger cage. In 2017, Arizona Attorney General Mark Brnovich announced that Diamond Resorts Corporation has agreed to settle for $800,000 in a case involving allegations of customer deception. Diamond Resorts is a timeshare sales company with resorts in the United States and international locations. According to the Attorney General's office, the company used deceptive sales practices. No, it's not possible. During sales presentations, the company allegedly made oral misrepresentations and false statements. No, it couldn't happen. Attorney General argued that Diamond Resorts has made misrepresentations about annual maintenance fee increases, of course, membership resale, there's no such thing, and buyback programs, they don't happen. Timeshare membership resale markets don't exist. The ability to rent timeshare vacations and discounts on other travel needs, can't get it done. Their office charged Diamond Resorts with violating the Arizona Consumer Fraud Act. As per the settlement agreement, Diamond will need to make changes to its business practices. The settlement also includes the creation of a relinquishment program wherein consumers can return their timeshares if they want to and have no further obligations. Good luck with that one. Good luck with that one. Just call up old Mikey and say, Mikey, I want out of my timeshare at Diamond. And you know what he'll say? Yeah. Brandon is with us. Brandon is in Phoenix, Arizona. Hey, Brandon, what happened?
Hey, how's it going, Dave?
I'm having way too much fun. What's up?
I hear that. So I'm 28 years old, and my wife is just turning 30 this month. But about 2 years ago, on her birthday, or maybe it was the year that we got married, we had gone down to Sedona, Arizona for her birthday, and there was a nice gentleman on the streets offering a $50 steak gift card, and we were, you know, kind of tight being newlyweds on money, and so that gift card sounded nice to take her out for her birthday. And then on top of that, we had to go sit through about an hour to an hour and a half presentation, as he put it, on a Diamond Resort timeshare. And he said at the end of it, we get a week-long vacation that we get to choose from between about 5 packages. So it sounded good. We went to the Tiger's Den, as you put it, and we made it out alive. It's a success story. But when we got there, it ended up being about 3 to 4.5 hours, if I remember correctly. And then after I got through the salesperson, she brought in her boss. And after I got through her boss, we had to wait around for about 30 to 40 minutes more and go sit through the final boss guy. And we finally left with our vacation package. But the funny thing is, to this day, we still haven't had time to use it, let alone spend $20,000 to $50,000 on a timeshare that we would probably never spend that much in our lifetime vacationing.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, amen.
So,
amen. And if you did, you could go to some really nice places.
I mean, even the free stuff isn't worth it. You know, I mean, all that free stuff isn't worth, you know, what you have to go through to listen to these people.
Yeah, and they're convincing. I actually just we were in Cabo over Christmas, and I was playing golf.
Mm-hmm.
Sharon and I were playing golf at this really nice place, I thought. And when I finish up, the little guy comes over to me. Hey, how'd you do? Da, da, da. I thought he's getting my bags and stuff. And then he starts telling me, he goes, hey, man, did you pay for your golf? And I went, well, sure, of course I did. And he goes, well, you didn't have to. And I went, really? Why? And he goes, well, I'll pay for it for you. And I went, oh, really? Why? And he goes, well, we do that. And then I start to realize it just starts to dawn on me. This is an invitation to the Tiger Cage, all for a round of golf. And so I just said, no, honey, it's okay. It's okay. He was going to refund me for my green fees, which were really, that would have been a real bad use of my time. Elizabeth's in Boise, Idaho. Hey, Elizabeth, tell us about your timeshare experience.
Oh, hi, Dave. Dave, we're actually triple losers, and, we're not going to go back for more. But our first one was at the Marriott Newport Coast in Newport Beach, California. And they put us in this, we were supposed to be able to stay there, right, and have the sales pitch. We had the sales pitch and everything, but they didn't have any place for us to stay. So they put us in this real dumpy hotel. Okay, so that didn't go over. So we left that.
Yeah.
Then we went to Bermuda Dunes in Palm Desert.
Oh.
And we bought a 1-bedroom darling place, and we loved it. We got our to play golf and everything. And then they got rid of the 1-bedroom. So they virtually pushed us out to where we would have to have been.
Wait a minute, they sold you a 1-bedroom, and then they got rid of the 1-bedroom, so they couldn't provide to you what they sold you.
Correct.
And so their answer to that was not to give you a refund, of course.
Well, after many months and a lot of arguments and a lot of pushing and threatening, we finally got a refund because they virtually sold us a contract that no longer existed.
Yeah. I would think. I mean, that would be straight up. That wouldn't be legalized fraud. That'd be just like fraud. Okay, so which company was that?
Third one, that was Bermuda Dunes, and I don't know if it's its own entity. I can't remember at this time, but that was a nightmare.
Say it again. It was called what?
Bermuda Dunes.
Bermuda Dunes. Okay. Beware of the 1-bedrooms because they don't have them. Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah. So that just disappeared. Okay, but that was a lot of fighting and a lot of stress. Our third one, as if we weren't the biggest suckers in the world, was Diamond in Sedona, as your previous caller just identified. So Diamond in Sedona puts you through the ringer 3 or 4 hours you're listening, and they'll give you a little bit of food and maybe some orange juice to keep your glucose going in your blood. And then they don't really want you to go to the bathroom, and they don't want you to leave to go eat. And so I'm like, okay, so I can't even hardly urinate here. So we stayed there and went through that. And then they put us in the dumpiest place I've ever seen for the night. And I'm like, this is unbelievable.
After you sat through all that.
Unbelievable. After we sat through all that, we stayed one night, and then I called him back. I called the showroom thingy, whatever people, and I said, this is ridiculous. And she said, okay, we've got another place for you. It was worse than the first one.
Oh, my gosh. But you didn't buy there.
So that was, I will never buy a timeshare or visit one of these crooks again.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I'm sticking to it.
I love it.
Thank you.
You're awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much. Glenn is in Jackson, Tennessee. Hey, Glenn, tell us your timeshare story.
Hey, Dave.
Hey.
It was 2005. My wife and I were on our honeymoon in Gatlinburg. We were approached by a young woman in a gas station parking lot. Offered the cash prize to come sit through the spiel.
Yeah, because I generally get really good things by people who approach me in a gas station parking lot.
Yeah, of course. They're at they pop up like weeds everywhere. There's somewhere for someone to stand. But we were convinced to buy a vacation package, and we upgraded from that the year we took our vacation, and we actually used our timeshare for every other year for 6 years at the Great Smoky Mountains. This was Westgate Resort, and then similar to your last caller, the unit that we were using every other year was going to go away, and so basically we were flat out told we would own something that wasn't worth, quote unquote, own something that we couldn't use, as they define ownership. And so we sat through hours of trying to decide what to do at a different, it was with the Westgate, but a different resort, and they convinced us to upgrade with the fictional stories of being able to sell later or rent later. And so it was actually a godsend that we found out about Timeshare Exit Team from your program, and worked with them and had a successful exit.
Oh, they got you out?
They did.
Very good.
4 years ago, this was finished, and in the time since, they've gone through, obviously they've been successful because timeshare companies have come against them hard.
Yeah.
And it was my distinct pleasure actually to speak on their behalf and say, hey, we were the ones swindled by timeshare companies.
Not timeshare exit team. Yeah. Well, we'll come back and talk about that a little bit. That'll be a good thing to let everybody know about. This is The Ramsey Show. Our scripture of the day, Proverbs 18:15, the heart of discerning acquires knowledge, for the ears of the wise seek it out. Albert Einstein says, it's not that I'm so smart, it's just that I stay with problems longer. You see, that's me. I'm not that smart, I just stay with it. Like this whole timeshare thing, I'm staying with it. So I'm going to keep talking about you guys. So here's the deal. So one of the problems I had here on the radio was that people needed to find inexpensive term insurance. So we went and found Zander Insurance and endorsed them. And they've helped a whole lot of people with their term insurance. People also needed help with their real estate, and we went and found real estate agents, and we call them endorsed local providers that we endorse all over America. Some of the top real estate agents, and they're endorsed local providers, and so on. And so one of the things we've done over the 30 years of being on the air is when we find a problem that you guys have, we don't necessarily need to get in those businesses. We just help someone that's already in those businesses help you, if they're reputable and they have the solution to your problem. But I was getting all these calls for 20 years. Dave, I can't get out of my timeshare. I can't sell it. I can't get them to talk. I call them. I can't talk them into it. I've offered to pay them to take it back. They won't. I've offered to sell it. I can't donate it to charity. I can't get rid of it. I'm stuck. So these two young guys call us, and they had started a timeshare exit company called Timeshare Exit Team. And it was on a couple of radio stations. It was doing pretty well around America. And they said they want to be on the Dave Ramsey Show. And I go, guys, when I put you on here and I say you can get people out of timeshares, your business is going to explode exponentially. Well, that's what we want. I said, yeah, but can you handle all those phone calls? Can you handle all those cases? Can you get all this work done? Because, you know, you can't take all this business on and not take care of these people. Well, I was wrong. It didn't explode. It exploded! I mean, it was amazing. And these poor guys, they were getting people out of timeshares left and right, left and right, left and right, left and right. But they couldn't hire fast enough. They couldn't keep up with the phone calls. They couldn't keep up. And every time we would get complaints because somebody wouldn't get their phone call returned or something, we'd get on them and they say, I know we're hiring and we're doing this. And we even sent them to some of our leadership training so that they could grow their businesses, so that they could get the job done to get you people out of your timeshares. They got over 20,000 people out of timeshares. And they were one of the most successful timeshare exit companies in America. They weren't the first. They weren't even probably the best, but they were very successful. We sent them a lot of volume, obviously. But they outgrew their ability to return phone calls and get everything done. They ended up they got overwhelmed because it was so stinking popular, because people hate timeshares. So the timeshare companies decide to target them and start suing them, and banding together and suing them. And Mike Flaskey got up and stood in front of the Timeshare Association. Word is, I haven't found the actual transcript yet, but we've heard from bloggers in the industry that he stood up and said he was going to pledge, that the industry was pledging $50 million to put anybody in the timeshare exit business out of business, that they were going to sue them until they ran them out of business. And so they started suing Timeshare Exit Team over and over and over and over again. Then they talk the Attorney General over in Washington State into going after them. I've yet to figure out how that happens. A little more to come on that later, I promise you. I'm just still investigating that. And he's trying to depose me, which is funny. And man, I mean, this has been these companies are trying to depose me because I endorsed them. Of course I endorsed them. They got 20,000 people out of their timeshares. But they've now been overwhelmed with legal fees. And so they're no longer on the air with us because they're spending all of their money trying to stay alive in these legal battles. And so now I don't know. I can't figure out how the timeshare business, they have so much money, they just buy their way into everything or intimidate their way into everything, apparently. Because then Inside Edition, which is a well-known, piece of crap tabloid thing, right? Decides they're going to do a thing on Timeshare Exit Team, and they're going to do a thing on me because I endorsed them. But Timeshare Exit Team's ripping people off. You got it wrong, Inside Edition. Timeshare Exit Team isn't who's ripping people off. It's the timeshare companies that are ripping people off. So poor little dumb Lisa Guerrero with Inside Edition decides she's going to do a story. So she calls us, and of course we ignore her because they're doing a hit piece, and you don't participate in your own hit piece. It's a rule in media. And I'm a public figure, so why am I going to give you information to do a hit piece on me? That's just dumb. I'm not. So just jump in the creek. Besides that, you're Inside Edition. You're a tabloid. And little Lisa Guerrero, I mean, everybody kind of knows about her. She's kind of a laughingstock. She was on Monday Night Football for a whole year. This is back in the 2000s. ABC Sports dismissed Lisa Guerrero from her job as sideline reporter on Monday Night Football, a position she held for just one season. She came to ABC from Fox Sports with limited sports broadcasting experience. Yeah, you think? She'll be replaced by Michelle Tafola, and a lead sideline reporter for ABC and ESPN. Her freshman season on Monday Night Football was filled with awkward moments, incompetence, mistakes, and most notably after the regular season opening between the Jets and the Washington Redskins, a stumbled interview with Patrick Ramsey. She could not improve. She was incompetent, dumb, and they fired her off of Monday Night Football. So now she's a star reporter on Inside Edition. So she attacks me in the lobby a week and a half ago of the Omni in Dallas while we're there doing our Entree Leadership event. Ambushes. You know, one of these ambush things where they pop out with the microphone, start running along trying to get the comment and all this stuff. And I'm walking with one of my team members along, and he steps between us, and she is whacking him with her arm, trying to push him out of the way to get to me. And now she goes on Instagram and says we attacked her and her arm is bruised. So, Lisa, we have the Omni security footage, and we've broken it down frame by frame. And, sweet girl, here's how it works. You will not hurt your arm if you don't hit people with it. You were not attacked. You were the attacker. And any of you that have seen the bruises on her forearm, these are the bruises of someone that is aggressively attacking someone, not someone who is being attacked. You don't get a bruise across the whole front of your forearm when you're attacked. That's when you're hitting someone that happens. And you go on national television and say, Dave Ramsey's goons beat you up. You poor, stupid little girl. I think maybe the way you hurt your arm is when you got in bed with the timeshare people. That might have been when you hurt your arm. That's very possible. Something for you guys to think about out there. So this is how this stuff works out here when you deal with these multi-billion-dollar companies. Multi-billion-dollar companies will put failed sideline reporters from Inside Edition on you and on Timeshare Exit Team and put Dave Ramsey up as if he somehow endorsed somebody he shouldn't have endorsed. Was Timeshare Exit Team perfect? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. They took on too much business. They couldn't return everybody's phone calls. They did not do a stellar job. And we talked to them about it several times. We were trying to work with them and trying to work their way through it. But basically, they have been hammered now by legal fees, and they can no longer, afford to be on the Dave Ramsey Show to provide the service to get you people out of a timeshare because they're spending all of their bandwidth fighting with these bozos. People like David Siegel and the Princess of Versailles, right? Oh, my God. Or Mikey Flasky, who just got I don't know how much money from this Hilton sale. Diamond, bought by Hilton. Hilton, you have a real problem. You've just damaged your brand. You took on one of the most grotesque brands in all of timeshare, one of the most horrendous group of people, lack of character anywhere, and you made them part of Hilton. You guys really just screwed up. And you gave them $1.4 billion, and they screw people left and right every day. There's comments all over the internet. The Attorney General shuts them down, gets an $800,000 fine against them in the state of Arizona. And we just heard several Diamond testimonies here on the air from people who tried to deal with Diamond or got screwed by Diamond or any of these other things. So this is how this works, you guys. So here's the thing. Not many people get the opportunity to hit back on pieces of crap in the press when they do a bad job. I happen to have a platform that allows me to tell you people what really happened and what the real truth is. So, Inside Edition, in case you didn't figure it out, you suck. That puts the Dave Ramsey Show in the books this hour.
This is James Childs, producer of The Ramsey Show. You can listen to all our shows with the Ramsey Network app on your smartphone. Browse by topic or even sync clips to your friends. Download the Ramsey Network app in your favorite app store today.